Hey, what is going on, guys? How are you doing? Happy New Year! Vitaly Dubin is here, founder and creator of Bitcoin's Pulse Club system. This is Today in Crypto show. This is the first time that we are covering the news of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in this new year 2019. Hopefully you had a tremendous time with your friends and families, and hopefully this year 2019 will be much better than the last year. We've seen one of the worst years, if not the worst year, 2018 for cryptocurrencies. So how much worse it can be, right? So on today's crypto show, I'd like to discuss with you what the future holds for Bitcoin, what this year 2018 holds for Bitcoin, what are some of the drivers internally for this market that are not being reflected yet on the current prices, what are the opportunities that lies in this space. I'd like to also discuss some technical analysis for Bitcoin and what we are seeing on the charts, and I'll also give a little bit of a glimpse of what we are going to experience here inside Bitcoin's Pulse Club and how we are going to diversify into Forex as well. So lots of stuff to cover today. Let's start with the markets. Today we're still hovering at about $130 billion for the entire crypto market. Bitcoin is slightly up 2%. Ethereum doing much better at about 10% up. It has risen to $150. Ripple is up, and pretty much the market is correlated. If Bitcoin is up, all the other cryptocurrency market are up as well. You know, so one day is green, another day is red. So as you know, last year 2018 has been a brutal year for cryptocurrencies, right? Bitcoin was down by over 70%, reaching as high as 85% from all-time high, and there are several reasons why it happened throughout 2019. But what I like to focus on is let you in on a perspective of what is really going on and what has been happening in 2018. There are two types of crypto markets. One, we have internally, like the different advancements in innovation and adoption that is happening internally on this market that is very, very bullish. Okay, more adoption, more awareness, and more Wall Street firms that none of them have abandoned their plans to create a Bitcoin trading desk after the fall of Bitcoin in 2018. And we also have this external market that is bearish right now, and this selling pressure that has not yet been stopped, and I think more selling pressure is yet off to come. So speaking on this external market that we are seeing right now, you know, falling for Bitcoin in 50% or so in November last year, it had different factors that contributed. One is the Bitcoin Cash fork and all of this hash wars between billionaires. Another one is the SEC and their crackdown on ICOs, and that got people scared. You know, people who are ICO promoters and ICO managers and project managers, also whales that are involved in ICOs, and their SEC that fined, you know, create a lot of big fines for several ICO companies. That created some pressure because it created some liquidity crisis for those companies, because they are holding most of their asset in crypto, and they need to, for projects to develop and to, you know, anticipating the SEC fines that might come to them as well. As ICC, pretty much SEC said that most of the ICO projects are deemed to be security. So they got scared and they started to sell in order to convert their crypto assets into Bitcoin and Bitcoin into hard cash, into something that they can use, you know, money in the bank, fiat, you know, to pay people and stuff like that. So that created like an effect, a spiral effect of going down, the selling pressure going more and more and more, and just got they just got worse, right? So that's on one side. We see this liquidity crisis with the ICOs, and trust me, they don't want to sell. You know, Just like in 2008, we had this world crash and crisis. People didn't really want to sell the Amazon stocks, right? When it was cheap, especially knowing that if they sell now for $50 the Amazon stock, and later on, a decade later, it'll be $1,100 or $1,500 per Amazon stock. Nobody really wanted to sell the stocks, but they wanted the cash. They wanted the liquid cash to hold. So that's exactly what is happening right now on the market. And I think the selling pressure have not really come into full yet speed. I think we have another one selling leg off happening in 2019 when we're going to truly bottom out. But that's when the opportunities really lies, because that brings us into the opportunities of the early 2017, when, as you know, we've seen Bitcoin, if I take a look on the monthly, right, on the monthly chart in the early 2017, took us to over 2,000% in 1 year, in the early 2017, somewhere right here. See this parabolic move that started in 2015, 16, so there was like couple years of this bullish move for Bitcoin. So that's what I'm expecting and anticipating after this selling pressure alleviates a little bit. What we are seeing right now on the charts, let's dive into some technical analysis. The monthly chart looks better than the other ones. It looks slightly bullish right here. We started on a green candle. In the weekly charts, we see some indecisiveness over here. You know, this doji candle was a week to the upside and to the downside. So we're kind of in indecision right now on the bigger time frames. If we dive into the 4-hourly, we are trading in this range of the descending triangle, going up and down, and we are the volume of the trading is significantly down from where it was just a week ago. So that means that some kind of move is going to happen soon. It's not going to stay at this level. We're either going to break up or break down. If we are going to continue like this on a descending triangle, so we can just follow along here for another week or two, and then boom, fall and test again the $3,100 yearly low and maybe crush below that. On a daily one, if there is another pattern forming called the head and shoulders, and this pattern over here, head and shoulders, if it's going to play out, you know, that's the left shoulder and that's the right shoulder, then we can see a move up. You know, we've tested this, then right down below, and then hovering at this point and going above. Okay, but for me, I'm still more bull or more bearish on Bitcoin at the short term, but not on the long term. Because let's discuss some of the things over the long term that can affect the prices. First of all, there is this innovation. The innovation is increasing, you know, and the pace of innovation is quickly going to the next level, both in how the project develops for Bitcoin. Take a look at Lightning Network, for example. Lightning Network is absolutely in a totally different place today. Just last year, 12 months ago, the network had 721 nodes and 2,332 payment channels. Today it has 4,568 nodes and 14,268 channels. So we are significantly have grown. And Lightning Network is one of those things in terms of Bitcoin adoption and scalability and speed. This is a solution that is long been, you know, development and needed in this network, because in order for Bitcoin to compete with Visa networks and, you know, with other be this global giant payment processor, we need to go from 3 to 7 transactions per second to, on what Visa has, 50,000 transactions per second. We need to get to a totally another level in terms of processing speed and scalability, and we are moving at a lightning speed towards that. We are growing significantly this solution, the second layer solution for Lightning Network, which is very bullish, very, very exciting. Also, the fees has declined significantly, 99% actually this year. It was at one point last year, transaction for Bitcoin was about $30. Now it's about 10 cents transaction per one Bitcoin. And with the Lightning Network, it will drop the transaction fees to even lower than that. It will drop it to a penny. Imagine all this capacity of this global Bitcoin network and thousands of transactions per second, all processed within really seconds, and paying a penny for it. So that's what this Lightning Network is bringing to the table. So that's a big deal. In terms of energy efficiency, as people are saying, oh, Bitcoin mining, it causes too much electricity per year. Well, let's put things into perspective. The Bitcoin mining consumes 3 times less energy than what is being used for getting gold, and 5 times less energy than is what is used by the traditional banking system. Okay, so let's not forget about that. And about 80% or so of the energy to mine Bitcoin is actually coming from renewable sources. So nothing to be afraid of from the energy production side. The adoption is increasing for Bitcoin as well. We've seen much more crypto users this in 2018 coming in. We have grown from 38 million to 35 million regular Bitcoin crypto holders this year. And we also are seeing this central firms on Wall Street. They are all building up on their plans to create their own exchanges and their own investment into Bitcoin firms like TD Ameritrade, Fidelity, Citigroup, the ICE Intercontinental Exchange, the CBOE, new exchange Aries X, Coinbase, Northern Trust. All of this, Goldman Sachs, NASDAQ, and many others are all building Bitcoin products. We have the Back platform by ICE launching in January 24th. All of this is easily forgotten under this just massive selling pressure that we've seen in the last 2 months. And while the sentiment is very bearish and people are freaking out, lots of selling going on and uncertainty and only they see black side, that's where Wall Street are going to make a lot of money. While people are leaving and selling their assets, they're picking them up. Okay, the big firms are picking them up, and they want to control that because that's where the big gains are going to happen. So from the institutional investor side, that's what we'll expect, much more involvement from the big firms in the crypto space, and you're going to see headlines of this involvement in 2019 more and more and more. Okay, so I have no doubt at all that cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin are going to have much better years ahead of it. The development, the adoption, the innovation is actually increasing and getting better and better right now. Okay, so while in the short term 2018 was pretty bad year for cryptocurrencies, right? It was not easy to make profits, even though people did make a lot of profits who shorted the market, right? Who shorted Bitcoin and some other major cryptocurrencies. They've been ginormous profits that actually could have been made while you short it in the bear market. So in the bear market you short, in the bull market you go long. That's how it goes. And the good news is that we are close to the bottom. Okay, we're very close to the bottom according to several major indicators. Like for example, one of them is this indicator called the Bitcoin NVT ratio. And when this Bitcoin NVT ratio is about 100, which is what we are currently experiencing after this drop, right now is 108, the market is still slightly overbought, not totally overbought, but slightly overbought, but it's much closer to finding a healthy bottom than it was in the earlier in 2019. If the bear market experience in 2014-15 is any example, the NVT ratio once again needs to stabilize for several months below 100 before another sustained uptrend can begin. Okay, so we might see in a couple months of this, another couple months of this kind of stabilization, hovering about $3,000, $3,500, $4,000 for Bitcoin, and this saga will continue for another couple painful months until we finally will start the next bull cycle. That, and as you know, and bull cycles can be like a year, and more than it can be 2 years. The next bull cycle will be 2 years of pretty much, you know, bullish trend. Of course, just like this, up and down with its own peaks and valleys and selling pressures and you know, going up and going down. But overall, that's the trend over the macro, you know, over the longer term perspective. So but of course, for that to happen, what we do need to see is breaking some critical levels here. First, we need to break $4,000, then $5,000, and then this one, $6,000, will be a huge level of resistance that I anticipate, just because of how many times it touched this level of about $6,000 in 2018. So this support of 6,000 that was previously support can become a big resistance that we'll need to overcome for it to be really get into the bullish zone. It'll be a heavy resistance level at this point. Okay, so just bringing all together, guys, I do see the crypto market being a much bigger industry than it is right now over the longer term, right? Not 130 billion, it will be a $10 trillion market cap over the next years, okay? And there'll be crazy amount of opportunities in this space for you to profit, and for cryptocurrencies, and Bitcoin itself obviously is going to be much higher than what it's trading right now. Because the fundamentals are there, you know, and none of the big companies are actually moving away from Bitcoin, even with all of those sell-offs. Okay, they're still moving on with their plans to open up the trading exchanges, to keep pushing forward things. And then in turn, when Bitcoin will go into the bull zone again, will of course leap into the other cryptocurrencies, Ripple, Ethereum, you know, Stellars, and all of the Litecoin. It's going to be incredible. So I highly anticipate that, and we're of course going to be closely looking at this in our internal Bitcoin Wealth Club crypto hedge fund that we opened, and it's been overseen by 15 years experienced traders. So very excited about that. And for all the members that are involved, today at 4 p.m. Eastern time, we're holding our weekly live coaching on crypto. So if you are part of Crypto Trading Millionaires, then you're welcome to participate, of course, and jump in, and let's discuss the current market and what we are seeing more in depth, and the indicators, how to trade it, and etc., and the positions that we are holding for the hedge fund. Okay, also today at 12 p.m. Eastern time, we're going to have a special exclusive training, live training, where we'll demonstrate a Forex software. And this is something that we're going to do more of in 2019. We're going to expand our vision of Bitcoin's Wealth Club. I've seen very positive feedback from you guys that you want that, and you know, just give you more options, guys, and more diversification. It's important, and I teach you in every single live webinar that I'm doing, is the importance of diversification, the importance of asset allocation, and you know, Forex is a $5.3 trillion a day market, and you know, there are some incredible solutions in this space for the newbies who never traded Forex. I never traded Forex before. to go and take advantage and benefit. I think it's going to be really awesome addition as part of our collective umbrella and our vision inside Bitcoin's Wealth Club, which is really all about helping you guys attain more wealth and more freedom, and whatever leads us closer to this goal of generating more wealth, more freedom, more abundance, and growing your wealth. It's going to be welcomed inside Bitcoin's Wealth Club and our community. So looking forward for an amazing 2019, guys. You know, it's going to be an awesome year. You know, I mean, how much worse it is going to go in 2019, right? The fundamentals are really awesome for Bitcoin. That's what's most important. The user adoption, the growth, the awareness, the Wall Street companies coming, the Lightning Network, all of those things, you know, are going to contribute their way. There is no doubt about it. There are $2 trillion of transactions in Bitcoin in 2018, which is 60% increase than 2017. So we are moving in the right direction. Right now, the prices are not reflecting that. We are still in the bottoming out capitulation phase of the bear market, and we just need to stay strong. If you are in a position that you don't need liquidity, you don't need to sell, then stay strong in your crypto, and be more patient. You know, it's going to be well rewarded for that. Don't go all in and put all of your asset into crypto, because then you'll be forced to sell when you don't want to sell and taking losses. Okay, be more of a longer term vision for it. Just like Tim Draper, when he bought 30,000 Bitcoin in auction, it cost him about $800 per Bitcoin, and then it fell to $170. He didn't sell, even though he lost 80% of his money. He didn't sell, and then he still didn't sell up to this point right now. But imagine, you know, going from $170 to $20,000 in a few short years. You just need to have a little longer perspective, and just like this guy is saying over here, Bitcoin will hit $100,000 if it becomes a store of value. The crypto oracle Lou Kerner is saying, right? Gold right now is an $8 trillion asset. Bitcoin is $60 billion asset. In my opinion, the value of Bitcoin can go up to 100-fold. That will ensure that the field of digital assets goes a long way. And if Bitcoin becomes a good store of value, then it will hit 100,000. The current dip is a normal in cryptocurrencies. It's a bump in the road. Remember, it's a bump in the road, and it's evident if you look at a history of other currencies. Across history, you can see that almost all the coins have dipped to zero. Okay, so keep that in mind as a store of value, as contender to gold. In my opinion, it's way better, and it has a good chance of becoming the global currency worldwide. So that's why I'm still very excited about Bitcoin, because fundamentally nothing changed, it just got better. So stick with it, learn how to trade, how to take advantage of this swings up and down. That's one thing. Learn how to diversify and take advantage of the opportunities. Okay, I'll be seeing you all guys a little later today on our live trainings. Happy New Year, guys.